is incredible on the way he's able to bully the lane, his ultimates in fights. He's been absolutely stellar at it. But looks like you're going to go back towards the Taliyah instead. I mean, he had a fantastic game against Rare Adam, so why not rinse and repeat?
I mean, already a very proactive comp here from V5 Dagda. I'll be asking more questions as we round out draft. For now, I want to see where EDG puts some priority, because as you were saying, the proactivity through lanes, the winning out, it doesn't really feel there at the moment. And as we get Jiejie on someone proactive, I think now it comes down to Flandre, who we've been critical of.
And I mean, you have at least the Zhao to try and play around that top side, which can help, but what do you play here? Like, Gwen is off the board. Oh, okay, no, that's not it.
You're not happy, Dagda.
I mean, yes, you have great late game scaling on EDG, but you have nowhere for Jiejie to be able to play around. Like, you lose out of the mid lane push with the Taliyah, so you don't actually get to contest the wave. Taliyah then roams sides, and every single other lane, you lose out in the 1v1.
Right.
Or the 2v2 on bot as well. So you always end up with Rookie playing numbers advantage in favor of V5, and even if Rookie's not there, you just win out in the 1v1 top and the 3v3 bot. So yeah, I mean, I expected EDG to have some lane that they could try and play around, but they literally have nothing at the moment. And you get pushed in every single lane, so Karsa just gets to do what he wants.
I mean, I'm also worried because you picked a Sejuani and a Zhao into a Poppy. So Q is kind of useless if Karsa's in the right place at the right time. We've also got a lot of disengage in things like the Taliyah Dagda. This seems like a hard first game for EDG, and when we talked about V5 being proactive in the early game, having a playstyle that really suits being able to mount pressure as time goes on, then you've got the perfect draft for them in game number one, and EDG are just going to try and have to fend it out for 30 plus minutes and hope the game's not in the toilet by then.
And that's where you get worried, because V5 have been so creative in the early stages. You've got Rookie on the Taliyah, where he can be proactive and was massively proactive in their series against Rare Adam. And Photic and ppgod, an aggressive bot lane with the most aggressive bot lane that we have at the moment. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see the level 3, level 2 dives that we've gotten already coming through from Karsa as well, if he wants to on the Poppy. Like, this is where you've got so much pressure here to try and make things happen on the bot end.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of Rookie highlights once again, but let's see what Scout can do. We talked a lot about these mid laners being historic mid laners in the LPL, and as they go up head-to-head, in our match of the week even, just remember that Scout and Rookie not only have pride on the line, but more so their team's success at the moment. V5 are undefeated in the league, and EDG 5-2 just coming off the loss against OMG. Kind of unacceptable for both fans and I'm sure EDG members alike as we enter Summoner's Rift. Thank you for waiting with us for this one. It is our last game, our last series of our week number 5, our halfway point of the LPL. And Dagda, I feel like we just came off of MSI only a couple of weeks ago. And the fact that we're halfway through our split is kind of, yeah, insane is the word.
I mean, it comes quick and fast in the LPL. And the fact as well, like, we're going to be finishing up relatively early, getting our playoffs out of the way in comparison to the rest of the world, which is always a strange one, because usually we're the late ones. So having our playoffs done so early is going to be a very weird feeling, where I sit there kind of twiddling my thumbs going, oh, this is what it feels like for everyone else.
Yeah, what do we do now? Rookie with a bit of an invade here. Scout getting pushed back, and V5 just using that Poppy we talked about to mount some pressure. And Karsa's actually committing to this as well. It's 133, a late jungle start, Dagda. So as he starts up on the Krugs, EDG know that their jungle's compromised to begin.
Yeah, Scout, though, not going to be able to toss a phosphorus bomb over the wall to try and get some damage there, so you will actually get the steal. We'll have to see how Jiejie wants to try and react to this.
True.
But it definitely feels, again, like we're getting what we talked about. EDG trying to at least go for a regular clear, but Karsa interrupting that and giving a ton of space to Photic and ppgod now on this bottom side to play as aggressive as they want.
I mean, you can see Viper and Meiko just backing away, the respect given, but the problem is that we talked a lot about these lanes already being under pressure. We know topside is a Gnar versus Sejuani too, which Dagda more times than not has gone pretty well. So it's a perfect start for V5, who make sure that Viper and Meiko look at one minion, but no others.
And Rookie here going to crash the third wave, so maybe they try and set up some sort of play on the bottom side, at least threaten it, so then as you can see, Viper and Meiko have to completely give up their wave. The wave on bot side is about to crash though, so I imagine we're just going to have it fairly bog standard. Rookie going to continue to farm up, may look for a quick reset off this wave, but Shun on this bottom, sorry, Shun, well, that's a wrong series.
Yeah.
Jiejie on his bottom
Close.
side there to try and make sure that he can cover any sort of play on the bottom end.
I know you're close, Dagda. It's about thinking about a good seismic shove. Speaking of, Rookie is going to get half HP here on Scout. So a really good opening trade here from the bottom lane, from the mid lane, excuse me. Dagda, I was scampering for my charger. My headset at the perfect time has decided to start beeping. So now that we're charged, I'm all good
It's
to
just
go.
excited for the match of the week. It's right there with us. They want to make sure that it's going to be good. Karsa hover around this mid lane though. Just going to pick up a Scuttle Crab. I'm looking at Jiejie though, because Jiejie generally on the Xin Zhao, trying to get as much priority as they can, farm up quickly and start to interact with the lanes, but just Karsa throwing so many wrenches into the work, you can see there's just not much that the Xin Zhao can really do right now.
I mean, yeah, just farm up an opposite Scuttle, go passive. I mean, there's still a red side up and available as Karsa finally heads back to his own, so we'll see what Jiejie does, but as he backs away, it means that Karsa is just going to have another full clear to go through, or at least a third side of the map. A beautiful start again, and Dagda, you know, in draft you talked a lot about the composition here for V5, being able to proactively do what they want just within the laning phase. We've already started off that way with a 300 gold lead, with a massive CS difference down the bottom, more than what you'd expect from a Senna Tahm lane, and we've got to see what Jiejie does, because I wanted to ask you what you would be doing as a Xin Zhao right now, trying to hover and make sure this early game isn't a disaster.
Well, this is the problem. There's little that Jiejie can do. You're looking going, well, I have 3 losing lanes, so I can't actually invade, which is why he's not able to go in onto the opposite side for the red buff, because if he runs into Karsa, well, then he ends up dying because you've got Rookie and Rich who can move across faster. So Karsa gets to clear all his camps. Karsa even waiting until most of the people in the game were level 4 as he clears his camps, which means that then you get the higher level reset as well coming through in your jungle camps. So even though his jungle camps are still level 1, the next level should be a lot higher for Karsa on these as he starts to go through. So
True.
Eventually he's going to be pretty massive. So I just don't know what you're supposed to do here as Jiejie. Like, you can try and punish Rich if you want to, who's going to try and continue pushing in the spot side, or maybe you can try and make him play bot, but you don't really have lanes that enable you. This was our biggest gripe coming through from draft, is there's so little that Jiejie can interact with.
And I mean, there's been small moments like this where we've questioned some of the drafts for EDG in this split, and I feel like story-wise, it all fits in with EDG not really being that same team that, you know, left Worlds at the end of 2021, that came into this new year looking so strong with Jiejie and then kind of fell off a cliff. Like, EDG were taken over by RNG last split, who went to MSI, represented the region well, and once again won another mid-season invitational. EDG been in the back burner of our minds, and yes, they're still a great team, but right now V5 are looking better. However, those are narratives outside of the game. What we want to see in this series is something more competitive and more challenging, as ppgod with good handshake in the bottom lane, but that's just the push-up of the wave. Remembering that Tahm Kench is the one picking up CS anyway, so no big issue, but still a massive difference to be had, as V5 claw to about 400 now. Small margins. Dagda is, look at me.
Karsa's here though, so you do need to be careful.
Spotted out though. At the very least, a spot out here as Rookie starts walking towards his jungler. He's tagged up, wind becomes lightning, but Karsa's on top of a ward and says, do it, I dare you. At the very least now, Rookie has the Weaver's Wall, so Dagda, we can talk a little bit about what happens at 6 mark, because Rookie not only can keep pushing his wave, but now start influencing some of the side lanes that are also doing well.
And I imagine it is going to be focused around this bottom side. You got Dragon there, which actually Karsa is going to start up immediately, but Rookie can push in mid, look to lean bot. Wave is going to slow push now off of Photic's freeze in the bot side, and that is definitely going to be the window that V5 are looking to try and play around. Why do I keep doing that? Jiejie is moving back down to this bottom side.
Whoa.
I don't know.
ppgod with a flash here though. I'm not sure if you take that one, as he's fully committed after the dragon. I mean, Karsa's over the wall again, trying to save his support this time. Photic coming in red hot, but ppgod obviously wanted something, and to be fair, Viper did flash, so I guess you take that.
Look, who am I to question the great ppgod? I am a man of faith, and I have full faith in what ppgod is attempting to achieve. I may not always know what it is, but that is the mystery of faith.
That's true. I mean, you believe, right? So who am I to judge as well? You get the flash out of Viper where he will have the Tahm Kench ulti, but safety in lane is not one thing we're saying at the moment, especially with Karsa coming down. First gank on the cards here. Phase rush Poppy, remember, need that 3 hits. It's decided the shove doesn't matter. I was going to say, that's not good, Karsa, but it ends up being beautiful enough to give Photic first blood.
And those who have faith are rewarded. Burns the flash of Viper, and instantly Karsa's like, I want me a piece of that. Runs down to the bot side, gets himself the kill. You get to crash the wave. Great stuff coming through from V5, and already we're seeing that this is just nice playing around kind of the advantage that they can get through these pushing lanes. Now you can get rookies able to push in mid. He can then rotate up towards the Rift Herald. You've already got Photic and ppgod moving up there because Meiko can't contest the push, so you should get this Rift Herald for free, and Photic and ppgod can move back bot before they lose out too much on the turret.
I mean, there's 2 objectives early on. This is just such a great early game to talk about. From V5, the 500 gold lead going to skyrocket as well with the Herald play. We haven't even seen Rookie's ult yet as well. This is kind of what we talked about in draft as we look at the replay, Dagda. Like, there's not much EDG can do, and as you said, ppgod gives us faith to believe that this follow-up play comes 30 seconds later.
And just really well timed. Photic hitting 6 off the cannon wave means that they can throw ppgod in, and it catches Viper Meiko completely off guard. Just perfect timing window from V5 to make that play happen.
Well, first kill on the board. It might be a slower early game for our fans out there, but still, V5 are doing exactly what we expected them to. At the very least now for Jiejie, I'm kind of curious as to where he goes because Herald play is there available for Karsa. As you said, there's not much we can really talk about with this in Zhao. As look at bottom lane, I mean, this is just pretty hard to watch. Even though it's a Tahm, it's a Senna, you just look at what's happening. Handshake comes through. Meiko has a lot of spears in him, and the Ren's not even needed. Ult the top side. We keep going through the lanes, Dagda, and, you know, I guess we'll wait for the next dragon. We'll see what EDG have to say, because let's say they do survive the laning phase, and I'm trying to give you something. Let's say they do survive it. At what point can we be like, okay, EDG, you got through the early game, now you can start talking?
It has to be about the 3-item mark. Corki's massively relevant. You've got Sejuani's really tanky. Viper as well, I imagine, would have picked up a couple of items. Rich, though, might get caught out.
In a bit of trouble, and now Jiejie has an angle, but Flandre just gets a solo kill. He was out of Gnar, and I guess that's how EDG finds something in this game.
Yeah, Rich just getting caught out. Nice from Jiejie to move around the wards that have been established on this top side. So actually comes through the entrance into river closer to where the mid lane is, so we can scoot around that. Flandre just getting the kill there. Rich, bit extended over tower, spots out where Jiejie is that little bit too late. And then at that stage, there's just nothing really that he can do. He knows he's going down in this fight.
I guess I thought that Karsa was at the top side. He'll be fine to take a turret shot, but yeah, a bit of a mistake here from Rich, and that's not what you want to see. That might give something to EDG, Dagda. I mean, Flandre gets a kill, but at the very least, let's be real, something to get through this laning phase and have some kind of avenue is better than not.
Yeah, it's just a case of what do you do with this kill? Because Flandre can't really utilize it particularly well. You still have the rest of the map is in favor of V5. Karsa, I imagine, going to reset and start to move down towards this bottom side of the map. He has the Rift out in his back pocket. Rookie has full control over mid because he's got the blue buff advantage there. So you can now start to make plays down onto this bottom side. And even with Dragon up now as well, just hyper-focusing bot side is going to be the play for V5.
Well, I mean, second Dragon as well. We're going to roll into a Cloud, Hextech, or an Infernal. I have to see what we get as Rich moves back up to this top lane, takes another turret shot. It ain't deja vu at the moment, though, as he continues to stretch for this turret play. EDG are grouping up around the Dragon 2, Dagda, and Jiejie now with his ult fully equipped. We'll have to see if he can make some magic happen, because ppgod and Photic are walking in, and as Root comes down, EDG still stepping up with the poke, but that gives Viper a handshake. He's got the flash available, but Meiko with the devour first of up. They go for the re-engage, but there's the Poppy pick. Plain and simple, Dagda. It's going to do a lot of work, because EDG now with the package too might have done enough to get priority, but I think there's a lot down as they engage in onto ppgod. The package, great from Scout, but the Fate's call in the back line, the re-engage. ppgod doesn't care. The hostile takeover hits max range, with Jiejie having to burn his own summoner as well. Scout's now out with Flandre TPing to the bottom side, but that opens up top. That might even open up the bottom side, depending on if they can get their own poke off, Dagda. I mean, now Rich gets his time in the sun too.
I mean, Riptile gets put down by Karsa, so gets the charge of bot. EDG now on the Dragon because they know they have to commit to this. So honestly, as V5, you're pretty okay with this. You got some pressure on the bot side. You're getting turret plates on top. Nobody actually end up falling in that engage. So you end up with a gold advantage at the moment for V5, whereas at least on EDG, you slow that Dragon stacking just a smidge.
True. I mean, it is an Infernal Soul as well, so we do have a much slower soul, which when you're looking at EDG's comp, which you talked about, Dagda, that is going to give them that extra 5 minutes of gameplay. So small wins here and there, and the gold isn't ramping too far out. I was going to talk to you a little bit about if V5 continue at this pace, because we know that V5 can be a pretty explosive team. We know that they can really ramp up plays and the speed of the game, I should say. So at this point, if it continues like this, good news for EDG, right?
At least at the moment, V5 still have the opportunity to make these plays happen, right? I think the fact that Scout had package on that last play and got down to bot first was just kind of unfortunate for V5. Rookie would have loved to have been in a position to make that play. But it's just a case of like waiting to see what Rookie's going to do, because the huge amount of this early game is focused around him trying to support the bottom half of the map. And yes, they got the Rift Tower charge, but none of that gold went to Photic. So he's still like relatively even and not too far ahead in the overall scheme of things.
Very true. And more shield bow on that 80 carry as well, by the way. Versus the Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't care what its new name is. I'm never going to use it as Flandre with a bit of a trade here, but shielding helps a little bit on the passive. Rich able to survive out as well. As look out, first items are coming across the board. Worth mentioning, Karsa has one of those too. Even the Gore Drinker picked up by Jiejie in the opposing jungle. So we are continuously getting some of these pickups as Jiejie going to spot Karsa, but nothing is here on the bottom side as Photic is going all in against Viper. Look at that Ren.
Here's Karsa.
Well, he's got a flash available this time around, but ppgod has the hostile takeover once again. You mentioned Karsa's here. He bops out Meiko and then goes for the play on the exposed Senna. It still opens up the bottom lane turret, but that's such a smart play from the V5 jungler.
Nice attempt from Karsa, but as you already mentioned, flash and heal available for Viper, so he managed to step away out of that one. EDG, though, will lose the bot lane turret, and now you can start to rotate Photic and ppgod up towards this top side right as Rift Herald spawns. So really nice timing window punished there by V5. Now let's see if they can continue this with the next Rift Herald play as well.
And remember as well, we still haven't seen that Weaver's Wall, so in front of the Herald, a quick rotate here from Rookie, who has had a pretty quiet game number one, but we know that V5 have just been, suffice to say, happy in their lanes. You know, what is that? What's that meme, Dagda? You know that guy is in the hot tub, happy in lane, you know, happy on my lane.
Moisturizing. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, you're at the right time.
Yeah, I know I can't remember. It's something to do with moisturizing. I know Ushin has it down. I just haven't seen it enough.
That's okay, I forgive you. The moisturizing part, obviously one of the most important parts. So if anyone's forgot to moisturize today, they'll be happy that you said that. Hey, Herald gets picked up though.
And
second
hydrate.
one here for V5.
That's what it
and
is.
hydrate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Look up the meat and just follow the instructions, all right? That's all you need to do from here.
Dagda, tell me, second Herald, what's the meaning of the play while Photic takes down his own solo turret top?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to use it top, you might as well use it mid, right? Everything else on the map is already taken out as these outer turrets are going down. So V5 going to be pretty happy with that one. And this time around, you are getting this gold going in towards Photic. So he gets the kill on bot tower, gets the brick gold on top turret as well. So you're starting to see this Kalista now stepping up. And I wouldn't be surprised to get the push from Rookie and top side, collapse on towards mid with the Rift Herald, see if you can force EDG away from the turret, or if EDG overextend, maybe you can actually just look for a couple of kills.
I think Fate's call is going to make it pretty dangerous with that overextension dagger. I mean, Photic is doing so much damage already, but as he sits now in the mid lane, ppgod with the hostile takeover with both summoners available once again. Viper's flash was also burnt in that last little trade. So I think it's worth mentioning that the bottom lane is still exposed despite having Devour and flash for Meiko too. That Viper has been punished this game a couple of times, and V5 have been pretty consistent on trying to burn his summoners all game long.
Here's that Rift Herald play we're talking about. The Rookie pushes in topside, now collapsing on mid. If you end up staying around too long, that's the Weaver's Wall.
I mean, it comes out, zones him out. Herald's going to get a free charge anyway, but the whole of V5 commit. And Flandre off onto the wing won't do the same now. TP off on the wing. Scout with a package, and this early on, EDG still want to take it, but the vision from V5 off on this right side will spot him if he comes into view. They're walking into his river, but Scout still has the angle, hasn't shown in front of Dragon Dagda. They're going to hold this one off as Karsa, 3-man ultis, and Viper is the one without flash. Hostile Taker now given over with the Fate's call. Meiko back in time to save him as here comes Scout. It lines through the middle, but Rich is in Megadar and gets a 3-man against the walls. He flashes away, the rest of V5 have to come in, and with the bailout, it makes it a little bit more safer as the seismic shot from Rookie says wham bam, thank you ma'am. Even though it looked good for EDG, V5 with a huge nope.
Ult diff coming in hot for V5 on that play. EDG didn't stand a chance. V5 rinsed the floor with them, take the dragon, and they're going to go home with a pretty penny in their back pocket after that one as well.
I mean, that was just beautiful to watch. We knew V5 had the better drive coming into this one, Dagda. So many options, and even with Scout having package, EDG maybe a bit early as they deny yet another dragon here from EDG to stall out the game. We've also got a second kill onto Photic here, and he's got a Gwinsu's Rageblade Dagda, so I'm feeling like this game is going to keep warming up and pacing up with V5's now a bit of an item lead.
And it's unusual for EDG to kind of go for this style of composition because not being able to play for these mid-game fights really does hinder them. Also, Viper just being on something where he's not really able to be the main damage dealer hurts a lot. And I want to take a look here. So great ultimate obviously coming through from Karsa, but watch how the package is used from Scout, because Viper gets almost immediately taken out, but a Scout comes through here on the package, stopwatch comes through from Rookie, no damage there. The ultimate comes through from ppgod immediately, which means that he actually catches Scout and there's no follow-up damage on the package, and Rich launching himself into that backline gets that massive Gnar. So no damage really comes through, or no disrupt comes through from the package, thanks to the way V5 played that fight. Really, really well orchestrated on across the board, honestly, on V5's side.
And a bit of anti-synergy as well, I will say, with Jiejie's ultimate there, Dagda. We're watching again. It's Jiejie who pops his ulti and sends 3 of V5's members up. So, you know, Scout doesn't get to do the damage anyway. With a Rookie stopwatch on top, it feels really bad to watch, and kind of some of the criticism we talked about with EDG, not only having some of these slower early games with lanes being insufficient, but the team fighting ain't what it used to be. And now with Scout and Jiejie showing their colors in that first fight, V5 at 3k gold lead, already mentioned the items coming through. Dagda now, I mean, Baron's coming up, and if there's another mistake, V5, well, they have a Kalista, so it is going to be fast enough alongside Gnar to threaten that objective too.
Yeah, and even just the inability to face check on EDG side is going to be struggle, because as you can see, Jiejie takes a lot of damage. Rich is going to be in a perfect spot to threaten side lanes if Flandre ever tries to group with them. So you end up in a position where you don't actually have anyone on EDG that can try and threaten for the face check. I mean, Jiejie now stepping up once more, but...
Oh, seismic shove, look at it go. Karsa jumps in. TP is a response from EDG. So as Jiejie spat back out, 5 people are now on this side of the map. That is a teleport down, and just like that, EDG are forced to come to the ground of V5.
And V5 just playing well around the phase rush on Poppy. She goes in, she gets the triple proc, runs that back out at the speed of light. EDG aren't able to lock her up, and now they're just going straight over towards the Baron. EDG are here, though.
Well, Rich is by himself for the time being. They're trying to capitalize on that, but the Weaver's Wall again from Rookie zones out. Away goes Flandre, but not in the nick of time. The seismic shove so good. Rookie again. That's Rich from over the wall. Drops the ulti. Victory 5. It's so easy to stay alive. As Jiejie wants to fly in, he's even denied at that. Rich finds himself another target. It's on to Scout, and Rookie comes back. Not only in the first series of RA, but against the world champions of EDG, and still styles on this Taliyah pick.
And now V5 get to turn back over towards the Baron as well. ppgod gets hit by a slow, but he'll be fine. And just like that, V5 open up this game.
Well, Dagda, it feels open from the start though, doesn't it? Because what we saw and what we talked about in lane, Victory 5 played the same game that we know they've always played. Kept it fast, they wore through their laning phase, and they came out with this comp that you talked about and completely walked over EDG as we look at this great wall again.
Yeah, that wall from Rookie, impeccable. Catches Flandre perfectly as he tries to dash over the wall. Rich is zoning everyone. You get the Gnar ult as well over that little wall to keep everyone in check. And then you just get Karsa. This is a wambulance. Like, he's just running around making sure he can hit everyone. Then it's like, oh, okay, we got the next victim. All right, cool. Just let me pop the steadfast presence, make sure you're not getting out of here. I mean, he's hunting for every little bit that he can get. And V5 play this so well. 6-1, a 6,000 gold lead. Dragon in 30 seconds, and we're going again.
Doing it again. Yeah, Viper saved by his support, but Meiko, how far can he get? Because he's in a bit of trouble now with Photic running forward. This 3-item Kalista taking charges. Karsa jumps in for a 2-man knock-up, but takes no damage under the turret. Meiko's now out of the trade, and with the third Dragon available for Victory 5, we knew they were getting this before, but that little fight just showcases how much easier it is.
They'll just push in mid here, make sure that there's very little contest that can actually come through here from EDG, trying to trade like mid push for Dragon, but V5 now going to steal away the red buff, going to get the Dragon. Scouts moving back up towards the top side because they realize their time here in mid lane is done. So EDG maybe trying to see if they can salvage something with the bounties, the objective bounties now available.
Oh, and 6,000 gold down, like they do need something, but Rookie now with the Baron buff on the bottom side of the map. They've got an Infernal Soul coming up in 5 minutes. Dagda, you know, a lot more time needs to progress in this game before we see some of these miracle plays. Is TP coming out because one in response from Rich. Scout, even under the turret, manages to survive, and Rich just seems to be doing that, while V5 is still going to get the turret on the bottom side.
TP for TP, and Scout needs to get the hell out of dodge.
Yep.
Now V5 moving back towards mid. Baron, we'll give them 2 more waves. So I don't know if they can actually try and push in for one more turret here. Might be a little greedy just with the how much time is left on this Baron.
Dagda, I have been sent a message from, previously known as Penguin, by the way. Unbothered, moisturized, happy, in my lane, focus, flourishing. Thank you to Asheen. We know how...
Told you.
Yeah, you gave me 2 of those words, man. You deserve the respect. And, you know, V5 this game, they are that man sitting in the tub. And V5 find yet another turret. Jiejie's on the wrong side. Flandre comes in and re-engage, and it's good because Photic might drop down here, but the bailout on Photic brings him back up. He's still alive, but with Ignite down, finally EDG gets some blood, but Karsa alive with the seismic shove. Rookie starts bleeding him out too. And Meiko and Scout standing here with Rich knocking him back. Meiko, he's been sent on the chopping board, and the chefs are just going rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat.
I chopped sideways, he's turned into sushi. V5 now going to crack the base alongside it, add a little bit of that dust to the meal. V5 dominating here. Rich and Rookie, the double R's going to just push back Scout and take that inhibitor.
It's just so fun to watch this team, and EDG having absolutely no say. Now, Dagda, I think this was their best fight, to be fair, though.
Yeah, I was really surprised Jiejie went forward off the Weaver's wall. I thought she just let the Terror dive, but I think it was really nice time. And Viper uses the ultimate as the takeover comes through, so he's actually able to get a good amount of damage off from the back of this, even gets the Q across the finish line to finish off Photic, but there's just no way for Scout to get into the fight. As we talked about, like, Viper's kind of hitting from afar with what limited artillery he has. So everyone on V5 who's able to get here just is involved in the fight, which is why I really don't think Jiejie should have gone in there.
No, he shouldn't have, but look, how many options do you have at this point? Shirelli is used to get to the top side. Scout doesn't have the TP to get out of this one. Valkyrie and Flash, what you're looking for, but Photic runs up to him. This Corki doing damage, but it ain't that time yet. Once again, a kill going over to Photic, who's now 5-1-4. Having a great time in this game on the Kalista, and Dagda, this is not the Kalista we saw in the last series, let alone most of the LPL games. This one's unleashed.
Yeah, and I mean, you've already got mid inhibitor down. You get top inhibitor here. Rich a little bit slow and pushing out on the spot side because he did stop off for a few jungle creeps, but it doesn't matter. EDG can't contest this with their mid laner.
Photic puts the thumbs in the air, as you do at this point. Game 1 looks done and dusted, and for our match of the week, I mean, EDG now backs against the wall at 26 minutes in the game. Rich, as you said, dealing with the bottom lane, but V5 just waiting for EDG to overstep. As tanky as they are, they still do enough to threaten. So double inhibitor now down, Dagda. They're over the wall. They're backing off. But V5 aren't going to stick around for any shenanigans now.
This has looked like match of the peak, though. Peak V5. This is absolutely incredible from these guys. Like, the plays that we're getting from the walls from Rookie, Photic, having that early control over that bottom side of the map. Karsa as well, consistently being able to play around this bot side, making sure that Viper and Meiko can never get comfortable. And I mean, look at the massive CS leads pretty much across the bot side and also in that top lane. Like, it is monstrous for V5 right now.
Yeah, like, You know, we know Senna Tahm's not going to have as much, but still, what you would call a normal flame horizon with Tahm versus the Kalista there, but you'd look towards Rookie and Scout with a similar vein. At this point, as EDG trying to get back out on the map, our observers are looking at the lack of vision as Rookie walls off Jiejie again, who just has the flash. Seismic Shove luckily not connecting, but V5 send the jungler out with his summoner right before Baron spawns, right before the Dragon Soul, and Dagda with the timers being 30 seconds apart, they can rush and then head over.
Yeah, it looks like V5 are just going to play that regular game of, hey, we're going to bait Baron as you try and contest Dragon, and just send Rich over to take Dragon. He has his TP available, and you can see the rest of V5 are just going to immediately start on this Baron.
I mean, Photic, as he starts hitting it, the Ren, the Smite, how do you steal this one away? Going to be hard for Jiejie, but ppgod with his zoning as well. Hostile takeover at the ready as Jiejie, Meiko walk on in. V5 deny with a great steadfast presence. Karsa's taking everything, but it's a Poppy as the seismic shot goes into the wall. This is just beautiful. Takeover as well. Scout finally has the package, but Rich is going to rejoin the fight. V5 getting low, but EDG need to take down Rookie, and they need to take down the other man as well. Photic over the wall, gets himself a triple. Victory 5 continues styling on the world champions all over our screen with a quadra kill. And Dagda, gear it up. Photic against EDG on Viper for the pentakill. You better believe it.
Photic pentakill to round out the game from V5. The minions were already doing the hard work. The bases and shatters, and V5, they smash EDG.
That was a game to be proud of. 29 minutes as the Nexus crumbles a second before. Victory 5 made that look easy. And that draft speaks volumes, Dagda. We knew it from the minute that this was going to be a hard game for EDG to play out.
And they just never got a chance to do anything with it. I mean, EDG, they try anything for Jiejie to get involved, and you've got Karsa who's there, ppgod is there, Photic is just absolutely destroying them the whole time, Rookie commanding where EDG can go with these Weaver's walls. It was absolutely spectacular from V5. And look, it was a little bit of a slow pace, I will say, in the early stages. We expected it to hit 6 and Rookie to kind of explode onto the map, but he didn't need to. He just needed to control exactly what EDG can do, and those team fights from V5 took the rest of it out of the hands of
I mean, when it was such a slow first 10 minutes, Dagda, like V5 were not at any point in that game out of control, but it's like, well, it's pacing quite nicely. But then as the neutral starts spawning up, as Herald starts pushing the game on, and Rookie starts getting active, it looks worse and worse for EDG. I love this look of Victory 5, and especially with Photic and ppgod getting more respect too. They were considered the weakness of the roster maybe in spring. Like, is the bottom lane up there with Viper, Meiko? Well, at the start of this series, absolutely. I think ppgod and Photic have had a better split so far than Viper and Meiko, and I'm not even going to apologize for that one. I know it's contentious. I know that you can compare and look at Viper's start of split, but I just feel like as a duo, Dagda, they are impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they've been absolutely incredible. And look, the problem that you're seeing here on EDG's side is not having any sort of lane to play around meant that Photic and ppgod could play heavily through that duo on the bottom side, looking absolutely incredible. The damage was there. I was very surprised to see how much control EDG were willing to give over in the draft phase, because as we talked about, like, not going towards Wukong, whatever, but giving over the Kalista and the Renata, and also the Taliyah across to Rookie as well when he's been so strong in it, in favor of just, hey, we got Corki. I don't know, it just felt really, really weird to me to see such a high priority on this Corki pick.
You can see, Dagda, there's a mouse on the screen. It was favoring EDG. Hovered over Jiejie. You know, maybe an EDG fan doing the graphics here. Obviously hoping that we're looking towards that side of the map, but we ain't. We're looking now at how quickly this game was won and done. And even though Flandre has great kill participation, good for him, let's be real. Damage numbers on Photic, and more so kill participation on Karsa on this Poppy blind, Dagda. Need I remind you, it was second rotation on the red side.
It just looked incredible. The thing is, you're looking at Karsa, who is going, all right, well, I don't really care what I'm up against. I'm a facilitator jungler. I'm going to play for my lanes. Poppy epitomizes that so well in this current meta, just being able to deny so many people access. His ultimates were on point. He looks really comfortable. I mean, don't think I've seen that many people knocked up by Poppy ults all split long. And we got like 2 fantastic ultimates off of Karsa in this game, and we still got the rest of the series to go. I think EDG need to start mixing up their ban phase though. Don't start picking Corki blind here at the top of the draft. Like, this needs to be picks that can have far more of an impact in the early stages.
This has got to be an EDG adaptation for Game 2. Otherwise, maybe our Match of the Week is going to be Match of the Week spelt with an A in EDG's favour. We go to a break, ladies and gentlemen, see what V5 can conjure up for their Game 2. But more so, let's see if EDG can actually, do a little bit better in the draft, Dagda, for your sake and for all of us as well.